Hello, I'm Melissa Carr, Marketing Director of Booklist Publications, and welcome to our first of hopefully many Booklist 101 webinars, where we, and in today's case, some of our board members, show you how to get the most out of your Booklist subscription and see how to use some of our products and services. Today, our webinar, Putting the Booklist Starred Review Issue to Work for Your Library, will be co-hosted by our board chair, Erin Downey Howerton, who is Youth Services Manager at the Wichita Public Library. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. To resize the slides to fit them to your screen, look for the magnifying glass icon located in the upper right-hand side of the slides. Clicking on that button will display a drop-down menu with several options where you can select the way in which you'd like your slides to appear. If you lose audio or would like to change the way you're connected to it, look under the Participants box to the right of your screen and click on the phone question mark icon. If you experience any issues during the webinar, click on the FAQ Webinars tab in the upper left-hand corner of your WebEx screen to view a PDF with answers to commonly asked webinar questions. The audience is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions that you may have. On the right-hand side of your screen is a control panel with an area at the bottom for Q&A. Simply type your question into the field and click Send. Attendees can see all questions asked during the webinar as well as the answers provided. Also, because this is a little bit different format, we want to feel the ability to improvise a little bit. So please feel free to share your own ideas of how you'd use the starred issue in your library as well. We will email you the slides after we're done today, so don't worry about getting all this information down now while we're talking. And we're also going to, at the end of the webinar, discuss how each of you will be receiving a free digital version of the December 15th Starred Review issue. So let's get started now. So Erin is going to kick us off. And she's going to talk about all the ways that she uses, that she thought of ways to use the starred review issue in her library. And I'm just going to read Erin's bio, and then she will kick us off. So Erin is a librarian and a youth advocate. She's worked with young people since 2000 in both library and school settings and published various articles and book chapters about library collections, intellectual freedom, and technology topics concerning youth. So, Erin, I'm going to pass it over to you, and you can take it away.
All right. Thanks so much, Melissa. Hi, everybody. Oh, my goodness. I'm so glad to be here today. Can everyone hear me all right? I'm going to assume that's a yes.
Okay.
Oh, wonderful. We're going to talk a little bit today about some ideas that myself and some of our other board members had about using the starred review issue. We're going to talk about some inspiration and things that you might do, and hopefully you will find this to be not just the most helpful book review journal that comes across your desk this holiday season, but also one that keeps inspiring you all year long. All right, very good. So what are we going to find inside this year? Well, it's a big mystery, but I'm about to clue you in. There's some really great things that are going to be featured in this year's Starred Reviewed issue. And for adult readers, this is a super time to get into the Andrew Carnegie medalists. The finalists, the short list of 3 finalists of the fiction category and the nonfiction category, they are actually, we had interviews last year, but they have a special treat for us this year. These winners are actually going to be announced coming up at Midwinter in Seattle, January 27th. So you'll definitely want to tune in, or if you're lucky enough to be in Seattle, stop by to see that announcement. Because inside the Starred Review issue, you're going to get a reading list of recommendations from the authors themselves. The Carnegie Nonfiction Shortlist authors, Francisco Cantu, Beth Macy, and Kiese Lehman, are going to tell you what they want you to be reading. So let's say you've got a book club at your library, and maybe they're already reading some of these shortlist authors. Well, their next book is not going to be far away because their picks will be featured in these interviews in the Starred Review issue 2018, as well as recommendations from the Carnegie Fiction Shortlist authors, Essie Adugin, Rebecca Mackay, and Tommy Orange. They are also going to share what they want you to be reading, and that is pretty exciting. I can't wait to see what they think we ought to be putting next to. Do you put your books next to your bed? Do you put them, make your to-read stack over there? Some people have them by their nice reading chair. Some people have them by their bed. But I know that after this issue comes out, there's going to be a stack. And these are things that we definitely want to be recommending to our customers as well. When our patrons come in the door, we definitely want to have really good recommendations for them. And I have no doubt these are going to be stellar suggestions. Haha. That was a little star joke. I'll try to keep my star jokes to a minimum. Other features that will be inside this issue. We're going to see some great articles from the youth side as well. In youth nonfiction, there's going to be a feature about exploring justice and injustice. Very timely topic. 2018 has been, this has been kind of forefront for a lot of folks having good conversations about what's going on in their communities, things like that. So I think this one will be very interesting. And on the fiction side of things, they have a feature called A Touch of Blue and Side Splitters and Rib Ticklers. This is something pretty interesting. I was reading a survey, I think put out by Scholastic. They said 70% of kids that they surveyed from ages 6 to 17, those kids think that humor is one of the most important things to look for in their next big read. So no doubt this article is going to help you tap into that market. I know I'm always looking for suggestions for that next big read. For somebody who's read all the Wimpy Kid in the world, what's next? Okay, so now that we know a little bit more, just a little bit more about what's going to be in this issue, how should we use it? What should we be doing in our libraries to kind of promote this? And these ideas, I cannot take credit for all these good ideas. I have to say our Booklist Advisory Board has been really, really instrumental in thinking about these things. And I want to extend some special thanks to April, Polly, and Katie for helping me pull together some of these concepts. So here were some of the things that we thought you might want to do with this issue. We have 3 smaller ideas. Maybe you're thinking about a little bit, kind of a modest way of trying to promote things in the new year. And then we have big ideas in case you want to go big or go home. So we've got 3 of each. We'll start with the smaller ones. Okay, our first idea, reading challenges, okay? I know a lot of folks, especially in the new year, they're looking to make that to-read list. One of the things that you could be doing, you could, for your adult winter reading challenge, if you're a library that has one of those, you could put some of these titles out there and suggest that starred reviews are great ones to start with. You could even challenge your community and say, hey, how many Booklist stars could we read in 2019? This is a great way to use these reviews and to demonstrate to your customers, here's how we're selecting these books. Here are some of our picks. Here are some of the reviewers' picks. Tell us what you think. Another way you could do it is you could offer your summer readers. I know a lot of our youth readers in the summer are always looking for something to read. Give them the option to read some starred books in order to maybe win a star. I know a lot of you have beautiful big bulletin boards where you like to post people's names who have completed the summer reading challenge. And this summer, the theme for summer reading is the CSLP theme about stars and outer space and such. I think that's a great tie-in, so that's a possibility as well. Now, maybe your community wants to take it in a little different direction. You could start a Facebook or a Goodreads group for your community, and maybe your focus is those starred titles. Maybe you just need a list to kind of get them started. Here's where the starred review issue comes in handy. You've got all of those books. It's almost like they're just pre-selected for you, boom, right in your lap. All right. So, small idea number 2. Are you ready for it? Let's see. All right, book group inspiration, okay? I thought it would be really nice for your book groups if you could share with them some ideas. People like to put together their lists of things that they might consider for the next year. What if you created a tasting menu? If you went through and you picked out, say, all the sci-fi and fantasy books that got stars this year, that would be a great way to kind of kick off the year for your book groups. You could use the Carnegie Shortlist, use those starred reviews, and give them some choices and give them kind of a place to start. There are lots of best of lists at this time of year, but these titles, man, they are, they're broad across the spectrum, lots of different choices, and it's really going to give your groups something to kind of dig into and really explore. I would also suggest if you go onto Booklist online and you go there regularly already, you might realize you can get those full, longer reviews. This is something that's really interesting to me. I love how each review in Booklist is super high quality. And my favorite part about Booklist is that the reviews for the starred books are a little bit longer and they're a little bit meatier. So you could go to booklistonline.com and you could get those full reviews to share and to really have more information and things like that to share with your group. And third idea, this was just something I kind of threw together. One of my companions at work, one of my coworkers and I, we threw together, we needed a display. We were stumped. What is it people should be reading next? This is something, you can just have fun with this. You can show customers how to find their next new great read and put some of those starred review books up in a display. You can use some cute little bookmarks to draw people's eyes in. You can also show them, hey, you too, you can get some of these reviews online. Visit Booklist online, visit the Booklist reader, get some of that good content. And also, ask our staff. Our staff are here and available to assist you. Some people really like that. They like the idea of the books kind of being pre-selected and curated for them. So this went down a treat. This display is actually already empty. So we're going to have to go out there and we're going to have to find some new stars, which is a great problem to have, right? We want people reading those books. And this is a great way too. If you want to, you could pick like one in particular. People have been loving Catherine Valenti's space opera. Go to Booklist online, and when you go and you look in that review on the online database, you're going to see off to the right, you're going to see those read-alikes that the reviewers have identified. And so you could create, star-like reads, read-alikes for the stars, things of that nature. And just in case, this is something easy, fun, like I said, this is just a little fun idea. In case you want to do this yourself, I believe that Melissa might be sharing these printables with you so that you can go out and you can whip these up this afternoon and put together your own display. I know it's hard to keep those displays filled sometimes, and this is a good idea to try and see if it goes over well in your library. Okay, big ideas, right? Some of us need big, meaty ideas. We are ready to tackle the new year. We want to get into 2019. What about putting together a wish list for potential donors? This is the giving season, after all. We have got people who are willing to open their pockets, not only because they love their library all year round, but tis the season, right? So if you can give donors something really concrete, sometimes donors really tune into the idea of selecting specific titles. And if you put book plates in them, to commemorate that donation, that just adds kind of an extra flair. You could, if your library does Amazon wish lists, you could do it that way. You could make a list of like the essentials of 2018. We didn't have money to purchase these ones, but wouldn't it be great if you could donate and help us do that? We want to make sure we didn't miss a single star. Help us complete our entire collection this way. So that's one way to kind of tap into the season of generosity. And coincidentally, that's why starred reviews come out at the end of the year. Is that why? Is that good timing? I hope so. I feel like it was almost planned. It's like a cosmic coincidence. Oh, there's another star joke. Sorry about that. I told you I'd quit. I'm so sorry. And big idea number 2. Now, some of our libraries are so awesome. They are able to bring in an author or Skype in an author or something like that. And maybe that's one of your big goals for 2019. You've got it all put together. What about going through the starred reviews and picking out an author for an in-person or a virtual visit. A great way to do this would be, to maybe if you want to do it online, you could link to YouTube reviews. There's lots of interviews with the authors and things like that, so people can kind of get a feel for their writing and their presenting style. Link to the reviews. It could be that virtual, or it could be an in-person event that you host at your library and say, hey, come on in, help us pick out who you think we ought to ask to come to our library in the next year. See what customers like. I suggested this one. I really liked Beneath the Sugar Sky by Seanan McGuire in 2018. That was one of my personal favorites, and it got a star, coincidentally. So that is another option that you can use for your big ideas. And our last big idea, why not feature your own community's writing? What about, in your schools, with your students, or with your book clubs, or any other groups that get together, why don't you show them some of the great Booklist Starred Reviews and give them that inspiration to share their own favorites? Challenge them. Say, okay, in the style of Booklist, why don't you write a review? You could then use that as content on your website. You could post them on a bulletin board right inside your library door. That would be a great way to really engage the reading community that you have in your own library and help them tap into a way to share their reads. A lot of folks think that there's a lot of mystery around writing reviews, and it's such a hard thing, and there's magic involved in alchemy, and really what it is, it's a passion for the material, and it's an ability to look critically at the material and to kind of place it in context. And we have, wonderful young people, wonderful book clubbers, folks in our own communities who have info they might want to share too. So this is another way for you to use Booklist and to create some local content and help folks learn how to share in a new and fun way. So those are the big ideas, the small ideas, and a little taste of what you're going to see in the big Starred Review issue that is going to be coming out very soon. In fact, Melissa, do you know when it's going to be coming out? When is this issue coming out?
December? It's December 15th, but we should have everyone a digital copy of the issue next week. So that's something that you should look for in your inbox. We will be sending everybody follow-up stuff tomorrow, but the actual digital edition will be ready next week.
Oh, fantastic. So you're going to be getting some real bonuses here soon. You're going to get a jump start on your planning for next year. And I just want to thank everybody so much for being here today. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks to Booklist, thanks to the board, and thanks to all of you for being awesome and spreading the good word about books in your community.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for taking the time today to offer some of your really great ideas for using the Starred issue, both small and big. And we hope that you guys also found this webinar helpful. We're hoping to be able to do more of these really content-focused webinars in 2019. So we hope you'll join us for more of these. I'm just going to wrap us up today and share a couple of things that you'll be hearing from us. One of them is we have lots of webinars, and some of them, like I said, next year we hope to have a lot more Booklist-specific webinars, but we also have other webinars where you can find out about new upcoming books that publishers will be presenting on. Just a couple of the ones that are on the docket for January, we have the 2019 Carnegie Shortlist winners, the 2019 Morris Shortlist winners, diverse books for youth, spring YA announcements, and so much more. So keep checking our website that's listed here, booklistonline.com/webinars, and it'll let you know which webinars that are coming up, and hopefully there'll be one that applies to your own interest. You also will be getting the free downloads that Erin discussed on small idea number 3. So we'll have the link to the signage that you could put up, as well as the starred bookmarks that you can put in the books too. Finally, Booklist will be at Midwinter, so please come by our booth. We're going to be at booth number 815. Come say hello. We'll have free print copies of the December 15th issue as well as the January issue, which is another good tool for you to use for collection development. It's the editor's choice and top of the list for 2018, so that's just one more tool for you to use in making your book selections in 2019. We also, I don't have this listed on here, but you'll also, tomorrow when you hear from us, you'll receive a link to the slides for today's webinar, as well as a certificate of completion, so that if anyone needs those continuing ed credits, you'll have that from us too. And then the big freebie that we'll have tomorrow, or next week, I'm sorry, is the free digital edition. Like I said earlier, we will send you a link as a thank you for joining us today of a free download for the digital edition of the December 15th issue. Just a couple more things for me. We also have a webinar special for you guys. Thanks for thanking us, or thanking you for joining us today. You can also connect your Booklist subscription to booklistonline.com, and included free with all Booklist subscriptions, our webpage allows you to browse free reviews, search articles, and also have the latest issues of book links on there. If you're not a subscriber, you can take advantage of this free this webinar special and get print and online access to Booklist for only $99. If you haven't already, be sure to check out the Booklist Reader, where Booklist editors and contributors are posting weekly about all things books and library land. Thank you again for joining us for today's webinar. One more thank you to Erin for helping us and suggesting some amazing tips on how to use the Starred Review issue to work in your library. And this concludes today's webinar. Thank you again for joining us.